Hello and welcome to another Try Your Hand. Today we are going to be making hot chocolate bombs. But before we get started, let's make sure you have everything that you need for this project. First, you're going to need the silicone mold that came with your kit. You'll need a bag of chocolate chips, the brush that was in your kit, your marshmallows, some sprinkles for decoration, your packet of hot chocolate mix, a bowl with a spoon. You'll need a pan and a baking sheet. And I believe that should about do it for this project. To start with, I've not washed either of these when you got them, so make sure that you do wash these, and then make sure that your silicone mold is very dry. You don't want any moisture in it at all when you fill it up with your chocolate. And the first thing we're going to do is melt your chocolate. So go ahead and put that in your bowl. We're going to melt it in the microwave. If you don't have a microwave, you can also do this on a double boiler. If you don't have a double boiler, that's fine. You'll just take your pan, put some water in it, bring that to a low boil, well, a simmer actually, and then with your bowl, put it on top, and the heat from the boiling water or the hot water will melt the chocolate. You just have to make sure that the bottom of the bowl does not touch the water in the pan. So it's just going to be a little bit of water in your bowl on top of that, and then you can melt it that way. I'm going to demonstrate melting it in the microwave. So the first thing we're going to do this very slowly. So to start with, we're going to put it in the microwave and put it on for 1 minute. This is called tempering the chocolate. When you heat it up and let it cool and heat it up again and let it cool. And what that does is it makes sure that the chocolate will be shiny once it's cooled, and also it'll have a nice snap to it if it's a piece of chocolate that you're going to break. The snap doesn't really matter for our project because it's going to be put in a mug for hot cocoa and melted. But we're going to start it at a minute, and then after that we're going to stir it, and then we're going to put it back in the microwave for 30 seconds, stir it again, and then put it back in the microwave for 15 seconds, and then stir it again. If it's not melted, then you're going to continue, but only for 10 seconds each time until the chocolate's melted. Now, if you have a thermometer and you want to, you can, once it gets more melted, as you see here, it's just starting to melt, and I'm just mixing it up. Your chocolate should never get above 90 degrees. I don't think we need to necessarily take the temperature of the chocolate for this. If we were making chocolate, like chocolate candies or something, you might want to be more precise and use a thermometer. But for our purposes, we just want it melted so that we can put it in our mold. So I'm going to put it in again for 30 seconds. Now my chocolate, as you can see, is all melted. Different microwaves are different temperatures, different powers. So you might not have to put yours in for as long. Watch your chocolate in the microwave when you're melting it, because you might not want to go through all the steps of melting it. For example, I only did mine for a minute and then 30 seconds, and it was plenty melted, so I didn't put it in anymore. If I were doing it again, I might not put it in for so long. It all depends upon the power of your microwave. Now that your chocolate is melted, you're going to want to fill your molds. So take a spoonful of chocolate, put it in the mold, take your brush and brush it all the way up the sides of the mold. You want to get a nice even coat. You want to make sure you get all the way up to the top of the mold. Doesn't really matter what it looks like inside the mold because nobody's going to see that. You just want to make sure that you're getting a nice coating of chocolate on the entire mold. You can do that for each of the circles on your mold. Now if your chocolate starts to get a little stiff, you can go ahead and melt it again. It doesn't matter how many times you melt your chocolate. You just want to make sure that it never gets above 90 degrees. So you don't want it to get it hot, you just want it melted. And again, make sure you bring your chocolate all the way up the side of the mold and that everything is covered. After you have each of the cavities filled, then you can go ahead and put that in the freezer and let it stay in the freezer for about 10 minutes. Right, these have been in the freezer for about 10 minutes. So now we're going to take them out and just gently pull the mold away from them. And you've got your shell for the hot chocolate bomb. Now the next step, you choose one of your shells, take your hot cocoa. Now if you want to, you can always make your own hot cocoa. You don't have to buy store-bought. This just makes it a little easier. Let's see, got a little too much in there because I do want to put some marshmallows in there as well. So then we'll take the marshmallows. And you can put anything you want to in here. If you want to take a few pieces of crushed candy cane to put in there, that would work as well. Okay, so now it's time to put the hot cocoa bomb together. What I've done is I've heated up some water on my stove. Then I'm going to put a cookie sheet over it to warm the cookie sheet. Doesn't have to be real warm. We're going to use this to melt the edge of half of the cocoa bomb. Okay, it's just a little warm. So you just place it on the cookie sheet, twist it a little, you can see it's starting to melt. Take the other half and press them together. You don't want a lot of pressure, just kind of want to move it back and forth. You can see it's melted together along the edge there. You can kind of smooth the chocolate out and you've got your hot chocolate bomb. Okay, now the last thing to do is to decorate the cocoa bomb. Just take a Ziploc bag. This is where you can use your extra chocolate. If it's gotten hard, you can just warm it up. Here, I'm going to use a smaller spoon to take some of that chocolate and put it in the corner of the Ziploc. It doesn't take a lot. You don't need to seal it up, just squeeze it down into the corner. Just cut a tiny bit off the end. And this will be your piping tool. And whatever design you want to put on your cocoa bomb, make a swirl or whatever. If you'd like to, you can go around the edge